Good morning. Happy Saturday morning from Southern California. It is almost 6:30 here. I haven't been doing lives lately just because I don't know, just been like solo doloing over here. Maybe on the next one I will. You guys leave a comment if you like the lives better. I've just been recording and then putting them up. Um, yeah, today I want to talk about a really important topic that I think I take for granted just working in the field of social services because we use it all the time. And from somebody who grew up in a cult's perspective, this can be really, really helpful to just keep in mind. And that is the 5 stages of grief by Dr. Kubler-Ross. So when she was doing her research, she wrote a book called On Death and Dying in 1969, and she worked with terminally ill patients to figure out these 5 stages. And people throw them up as kind of pop psychology, um, and it's more to it than that. It's more than just, oh, you're in denial. The 5 stages are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And one of the things that people think is that it goes in order. And the doctor wrote later that she regretted writing it in a way that may have miscommunicated. And so it doesn't always go in a linear pattern from denial to anger to bargaining to depression to acceptance, right? We can be in all different phases at different times while we're going through grief. One thing I know as a former cult member is that it's really, really important to process grief. I am so good at just sliding right by when something bad happens because it's just like every other bad thing that's ever happened, and I just have to keep going, right? When you don't feel that, it builds up in your body. There's a wonderful book called The Body Keeps the Score, and it goes over how trauma stays in our body unless we express it. So I've been looking for really healthy ways to express some of these things. Um, I realized in a therapy session this week just how much grief is still sitting underneath the surface because when I'm talking about my family members and friends who I've lost to disconnection, I am crying easily. And my therapist pointed out that it's a sign of how much I cared about them, which makes complete sense. But how do we get over and grieve people who are still alive? That's a hard question. And that's one that when you're faced with disconnection, you don't quite know how to process. But thankfully, we have professionals who understand and have dedicated their lives to helping us. And some are even specialists, which help a lot more. Um, Today, I want to talk specifically about anger because this is a challenging one, especially if you have good manners and are polite. Um, this is something that I want to keep in mind, so I'm going to read it out loud and remind all of us, and I hope you find it helpful. By the way, before I start, I did get a couple donations on my GoFundMe. I just wanted to say thank you so much. This has been the most bizarre time of my life, speaking out against Scientology and having the fair game that has come my way. I should have had, I don't know, $100,000 in the bank before I started because they go hard. So, yeah. Oh, and I got some very, very cute tags in for my new store. So let's see if you can see that. There we go, Desert Witch. I designed this tag from a photo I took of the desert, and I'm doing some desert vintage. So check it out, etsy.com/desertwitchvanessa. Some cool old vintage stuff on there. So back to the matter at hand. Anger. It's really important you feel this, and sometimes we could use the example of somebody who finds out that they're going to be passing away, that they have terminal illness. And it's easy to think that you go through the stages linearly, like, I'm in denial, this isn't happening to me. I'm sure we've all been there. And then you start to become angry at the news. Usually I go straight to depression. I just kind of numb out and keep going, but that's just from a childhood of emotional the abuse, I guess you could say, from the auditing and stuff like that. Um, so these are four important points about anger. One, swallowed anger turns in on the person who feels it. When outward expression is censored, there's nowhere else for anger or rage to go. You guys, that's terrifying. I hate you because I hate myself. Whoa. It's true though. Let's keep that in mind. We want to be angry and we don't, and we squash it and we swallow it, it becomes into I hate myself. There's no getting around it. So let's bear in mind. Swallowed anger breeds a sense of non-specific guilt. I want to harm you, but I didn't because I've done something wrong, but I don't know what. And I hand wrote these, you guys, because I needed to know these by memory. Okay. This is really important stuff. Swallowed anger breeds a sense of non-specific guilt. So let's keep that in mind too. 3, swallowed anger finds its way out by becoming paranoia. Okay. So let's stop swallowing our anger and put it somewhere productive. 4, swallowed anger gets discharged onto safe target, like bits of furniture. I wrote example, door slams and irritability. If you find yourself snapping easily or like getting mad at things that you wouldn't normally get mad at, that's when I start to notice I'm like, wow, what am I dealing with inside that I could be dealing with better? Anger can be safely felt and then discharged with civility. So let's keep that in mind. Anger is just an emotion. We don't have to run from it, and it can be safely felt and discharged. It's something that I took up boxing, and that was so good for my anger. I was, I kid you not, it was when we were going through a disconnection with my parents. I was going through a disconnection. Me and my dogs were going through a disconnection with my parents, and I just imagined David Miscavige's face when I was boxing. That's what I did. That helped me get it out because I knew that there was just one person creating all this sorrow for us and my family for no reason, just keeping the status quo going. I've been working out a lot, trying to put it somewhere safe. I've been coloring my serial killer book, my serial killer coloring book. That's been helping me. I've been writing a lot. So there's things that we can do to transmute this anger and put it in different places. And I do want to talk about the other stages too, maybe not today because I'm trying to keep these videos short. Just a quick reminder that it's okay to feel angry, but it's also important to channel it into, for me, I use it as fuel. I think of all the people who wanted me to fail, and then I just work a little bit harder today to make sure that I don't fail. And maybe that's petty, but it's the only thing I can do sometimes when there's not a whole family supporting or anybody saying keep going, except for you guys on YouTube. Sometimes it's like an awesome extracurricular support group and support network of people who I've met online that you guys have really made a difference in my life. And sometimes the other day somebody sent me I won't call them out by name, but somebody sent me $100 and said, I found this under my couch. And you know what? I like to help where I can. Just that nice, good deed set my entire day up differently, my viewpoint differently of how I was looking at people. And you never know who you're going to be doing that to. If you can just make a policy for yourself of just kind of trying to be the best you can when you can, and that you're going to be able to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and go to sleep with who you were that day. And thankfully I am. And it's taken a lot of work after Scientology to do that. And to know that the work that we do here on this planet is only so finite in the world of the entire world, and to just be humble, have grace, do the best you can, but also lend a helping hand when you can. And that isn't something that I was taught in Scientology. We were just taught kind of walk on by if you see somebody struggling and maybe tell them to get a job, like as if they didn't think about that. So until next time, you guys, I hope you have a great weekend. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share if you found this helpful, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks for coming by.